Hey everyone, welcome to Amped on Demand. Thanks for tuning in to today's edition of the Whiteboard Brief. Your warm-up today is 3 rounds of 10 jumping squats into 10 air squats, then 10 lateral lunges, 3 scapula push-ups into 3 push-ups, then you'll grab a weight, hit 10 strict press on each side, and then you'll finish with 2 25-meter shuttle runs. So you'll run 25 meters down, 25 meters back. You'll do that twice. And if we don't have a place to do the run, we'll just do 50 jumping jacks instead of this 2 shuttle runs.
For the air squat, start with your feet just outside shoulder width, toes slightly out, push your hips back, then drop straight down, making sure your knees are tracking your shoelaces and your back is flat. Once your hips go below your knees, drive through your heels and stand straight up, making sure you're balanced across your foot the whole time. Jumping air squats have the same principles of the air squat, just add a small jump at the top. Lateral lunges start in a really wide stance. Push your hips back, then lower yourself down, making sure your knee is as wide as your ankle and your chest is up. Then stand all the way back up before the next rep. Scap push-ups start in a high plank, keeping your arms straight. Alternate between pressing away from the floor and pinching your shoulder blades together. Push-ups start in a high plank, keeping your body in a straight line. Lower yourself down to the ground, making sure your elbows are in. Then press away from the floor, making sure hips and shoulders rise together. This movement can be scaled by dropping your knees down to the ground and pressing off the floor, or elevating your hands on a box. For the strict press, start with a weight in the front rack, wrists stacked on top of elbow and feet underneath your hips. Keeping your chest up and your abs tight, press the weight directly overhead, making sure your bicep finishes by your ear.
Now make sure that jumping air squat starts with a good air squat and then follow it up with a jump at the top. Just worry about getting your feet off the ground. It doesn't matter how high you jump. It's not about jumping high. It's about a solid air squat without slowing down at the top. So if you keep accelerating all the way through your air squat, your feet will leave the ground at the end. For those strict presses, whatever weight you have at home will do. By now, I'm sure you've heard so many options for what you can use as a weight. A gallon of water, a bottle of water, a backpack, a duffel bag, dumbbells, kettlebells, all those things. There are so many options. You just need something that you can hold in one hand. Today's workout is a long one. It is 20 minutes. It's as many rounds and reps as possible of 3 different movements: single arm snatch, burpees, and running. The rep scheme we got is 10 single arm snatches, 10 burpees, and 200-meter run. So you'll do 10 snatches, 10 burpees, and a 200-meter run as many times as possible in 20 minutes. For that single arm snatch, we programmed it to be done with a squat, so you'll be receiving the weight that you're using overhead at the bottom of a single arm overhead squat. That can be very challenging. So if you're not capable of getting into a single arm overhead squat in a good body position, then we'll just do power snatch instead of squat snatch. If we're gonna scale the burpee, that can be scaled to an up down. That's just like a burpee without touching your chest to the ground and without jumping at the top. And if we cannot run for some reason, we can do 20 alternating jumping lunges or 20 step back lunges.
Set up for the snatch with your feet shoulder width apart. Reach down for the weight with your arms straight, butt down, chest up. Pull the weight off the floor, making sure your hips and shoulders rise together. Then get a violent hip extension just before lockout of the hips and knees. Follow that with a shrug of the shoulder and a punch of the weight overhead while riding it into the bottom of an overhead squat. This can be scaled by removing the overhead squat from the movement. For the burpee, start standing tall, put your hands down on the floor, jump your feet back, lower yourself down to the ground, jump your feet back forward, stand up and jump. We can step back our feet instead of jumping back our feet, and we can also step forward our feet instead of jumping forward our feet. That movement can be scaled to an up down by eliminating the jump and the chest touching the ground. For jumping lunges, alternate lowering your knees down to the ground, making sure your chest is up and you have a 90-degree bend in each one of your legs. Make sure that front knee is not going forward of your toes. For step back lunges, start with your feet together, step one leg back, lower that knee down to the floor, making sure you have a 90-degree bend in each one of your legs and your front knee is not going forward of your toes.
So in a workout like this, it's long, it's a lot of heart rate, it's a lot of muscle fatigue in your legs. You want to try and pick a movement as your throttle, and that movement will gauge how quickly or slowly you move through a round. And I recommend your throttle today be the burpee. So what that means is you'll always do your snatches at the same pace. You'll always run that 200 meters pretty much as hard as you're capable of going. But the burpees, you can slow down or speed up depending on how much energy you have. So when you take your foot off the gas, go a little bit slower on the burpee, you're feeling really good, lay the hammer down and go faster on the burpee. Those single arm snatches, you're doing 5 on each side, so it's 5 on the right, 5 on the left. You can break that up however you want. You can do alternating right, left, or you can do all 5 on one side, then all 5 on the other. I really want you all to focus on pushing your pace on the run. Don't just turn this into a 200-meter recovery run. The run is not your recovery work. It is meant to be done as fast as you're capable of doing it. So get outside, enjoy some of the great weather we got going on right now. If you want to work out with some of us from the gym, hop into one of our free live classes. The link is in our bio. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.